Honorable sisters, brothers, and friends, this is my midweek happy hour. So titled Happy Hour because if you're morally good, it's the basis. Uh, you can be happy in the knowledge that you can obtain eternal salvation if that's what you believe, and certainly better socially and so forth. Now, I'm Preacher Doc, and semi-retired, world-class achiever in the discipline of science, especially physics, and most precisely in advanced concepts in theoretical mathematical physics. And there's so much forced robbery and politics, and well, what is man's greatest challenge? The discipline of theology. How do we get here? Why are we here? What best to do? And I've answered that repeatedly, and there are videos on that. Then, raising the state of the art of discipline of theology. Well, how do I get by? Well, I survived. What? Criminally insane, homo, Hoover, crapola is the polite way of doing it. Well, what's the blunt facts? Well, this government is where it's better than any other. And they're going to control the dollar dominance, which is printed paper money. And I say, hey, if you want printed paper money, especially out of the U.S., I'll buy the Sunday comics and put ones, fives, 20s, $100 on it, and you'll have paper money out of the U.S. It's more colorful, and it's even got a little humor to it than their printed money. And I mean, these are I say the facts. The facts are that you, as Google and Bing and maybe some others, about certain crimes. Was Hoover involved in JFK's assassination? He was the power behind it. And then Robert Kennedy. There are many that say that Bush and his son were at the airport by JFK Jr.'s plane 3 or 2 days before the plane crashed. There were four. They pinpointed actually there, and two of them were Israeli killer agents. That's you put it in there and you see what comes up about JFK, who was at the airport, and about that plane crash. Bobby Kennedy. Nobody can try to tell me about Bobby Kennedy and what happened. I was there, talked to him face to face at least twice, tried to save his life. You see, Hoover, there was a pyramid of power, a shadow government pyramid of power, and Hoover was the point of the pyramid. The other ones were public mouthpieces. And it turned out I would say, hey, I'm batting 1,000. To save time and better results, maybe try my way first. Well, when I said I thought Truman would win, and Hoover said, no, his man Dewey. And then Dewey won, supposedly, and he celebrated with his immoral parties, which I walked out of the first one. I got fellow square, is what they say back then. This homo Hoover, replace him. Anybody try to replace Hoover died violently. JFK, Martin Luther King was going to expose him as a not pass for white and other crimes. Bobby Kennedy was going to fire him. And there was Melvin Purvis, top FBI man. And they said, let's replace Hoover with Melvin Purvis. Hoover said, I'll show him. He got Purvis out of the FBI, and Purvis was found shot, dead. And Hoover ruled he committed suicide. And Purvis's wife called Hoover a liar and some other names. Not some of the names I and others call him. Yeah, these are the blunt facts. And I try to say them reasonably. We're not that blunt. Well, let's get that to the real blunt facts. Well, the president, and I'll say his name, President Nixon. I say, oh, Nixon. No, President Nixon, while in office, they said Hoover died. And what did Nixon say? That cocksucker finally died. Now he's in office, president, and he's bluntly saying what he knew Hoover was, the power behind experimenting Americans to death, of all kinds of shadow government power. And well, you say, well, is there a shadow government now? Of course. They had the fellow up there as the public mouthpiece. The power is there. He's got to do what they say, otherwise they knock him off. Oh, I exaggerate. No, I took a year and I finally got Hoover to let Einstein and I confer, because my main interest then was the discipline of science, especially physics, and most precisely advanced concepts of theoretical mathematical physics. And in our conference, he agreed with yours truly as to the future of theoretical mathematical physics. Nobody can say what the ultimate universal velocity is. And I gave him a discussion, and he says, we're going to work together. I said, I think we should. He says, but they told me not to work with you. And as I suspected that. He says, but I don't care what he tells me. We're going to work together. When I began to start our work together, he had dropped dead. Hoover knocked him off. You understand the power Hoover had? Well, Melvin Purvis, George Wallace, who was not liked because of his prejudice, then says, you know, okay, I'll say that you vote for me and we're going to have equal rights. Absolutely. And he spoke to all people, and he was the front runner. And he says, hey, I think he'll win. He's the front runner. It's getting to be where he's getting more and more. So Hoover, I think, purposely done it. They said, what are you going to do about Hoover? And he says, well, he didn't say I'll fire him. He said, I'll replace him. Within 4 days, they gave him a party, and then they shot him in the stomach, because you can't really operate on somebody after you shouldn't eat before an operation. So they figured he would die, but he survived and was a cripple. He got knocked out of the race. Isn't that a true fact? Now, you take as Google and Bing and others about JFK Jr., and you put in there Bush Sr. and George Bush. Were they at the airport where JFK Jr. kept his plane? And they absolutely proved he was there. George Bush and George Bush Sr. and George Bush were there with 2 killer agents from Israel. Absolutely identified. You put in there what they call whistleblowers of what's some of the things that have been going on. You put in there about JFK Jr.'s plane crash. And is that a true fact? You put in there about what's going on in the Federal Reserve. Now, in the war of Iraq, the greatest world demonstration was against the U.S. to not to have war in Iraq. Well, the coward of Vietnam says, I got my troops there. If I don't use them, I'll lose them. How many did we lose by? Then it was proved that they falsified the intelligence reports. Isn't that correct? The British Parliament had a public TV that they phonied the intelligence reports, so they go war. And Israel is constantly trying to get the U.S. to attack another Arab nation. Use your men and women and blood and money while they laugh all the way to the bank. The USA is in bed with that Netanyahu genocidal maniac they're screwing them 24/7. The blunt facts. He's practicing genocide, and we supply them with the things to. Why would they come here and hit us? Because for 2 years before, they said, we're going to come over there and hit you. We're going to come over there and hit you. Why? Because you're giving them the planes and everything to kill our children and women and everything. We're sending drones into other countries No border. They just send a drone wherever they want to. And they're terrifying these children and women day and night now for, well, at least a couple of years. They live in terror. But they usually accuse they're terrorists. Well, there's extremists in all spectrums of political strife. So the little extremists, yeah, you got to be careful of them. But who's really terrorizing who? Who's really genociding who? Isn't it Netanyahu and their genocidal maniacs against especially the Palestinians? These are the true facts. Now, what about raising a state-of-the-art of theology is what I really want to do, especially my midweek. Well, as I asked Einstein, he was supposed to be the expert on mass and material. Where does material come from? And he thought carefully, and he said, it's just here. Well, that's answering the question with sort of a question. How did it get here? I've answered that, and there's many videos on that. I have to get to the even maybe tougher questions as far as what's going on today. And what's going on today, they hit me 24/7 with Hoover crapola. It's true. It's uproars. The people, time, and money over at least 50 years, what they spent to keep me from not being publicly known and take what's mine. Why? How to fire Hoover? Of course. But honest men there. You have to do what the people, best for the people. So I've come to the conclusion, people not could, must, people must have somebody there that's a strong man that'll do best for those people. Absolutely. And they say, oh, he's this, that, the other thing. No. Hoover made me the 007. True fact. Come on, I'm a married man. I believe in co-ed everything, you know. No, it just started as half inside joke, half true fact, and half an inside. I can prove that. Absolutely. I'm telling you, he was the point of the pyramid of secret power, and I was his, they say, right-hand man. But actually, they had several movies, of course, about 007. I don't watch that lion crapola, that lion British baloney. But they had one movie, though, about Hoover where they actually used my last name, but they used my father's first name, where I was Hoover's right-hand man, the big, tough, dirty trickster. Just the opposite. I'm only about 5'9". Just no, I was an athlete at 5'9". I really was a good athlete and baseball player. No baseball, exceptionally good. These are true facts. Now, let's get to what I really want to do, and that's raise the state of discipline of theology. The toughest challenges. If a person survives an accident, 200 people, 199 died, one person survived. They say, I thank God saving my life. Now, wait a minute. God came down to earth, let children, women, and men all die, but saved you. I don't think so. It's just an accident. So if something good happens, say, oh, good God, I thank God. What about if something bad happens now? Those who are maybe bigots say, well, it's a bad God. No. It appears, in my belief and opinion, that God judges. I need more time to go into this, but I'm only human, no more or less than any other human. And Christ did appear before me. I can't lie. I used to not mention it and even kind of forgot about it because I thought it was what the 3D hologram. This was years ago before they really had that, a 3D hologram trick, or I was dreaming. But if I was dreaming, I was dreaming that I was awake, making sure I was awake and was now going to touch this opaque, a solid vision. The height and weight, it'll appear to be Jesus Christ, absolutely. I'm going to prove, well, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do because it disappeared. Now, this is the challenge. I got 15 minutes. Why did God, Christ, if he did appear before me, and not appear before somebody like Netanyahu and say, you gosh damn genocidal maniac, you stop this genocide against the Palestinians? Why do you have your mother say, world pray for peace? If they don't pay any attention to her, and they conduct this genocide. Men are in charge of military and war. Isn't that a true fact? So man to man, I want to know why you don't come down to earth. Don't talk to me. Talk to that, like those nuts who practice genocide and commit murder, and say, you stop this. And then maybe they'll stop it. That's my question. And anybody that's got a comment, you must say that you're at least 21 years of age and ask the question. I don't answer comments, but I challenge any challenge you have, and these are the true facts. And I say to all of those who I should thank you.